The chains were ceremonial, yet they bit into her wrists like judgment. General Calith of the Vurothi Dominion stood proud, even as the tribunal chamber's golden lights cast her in a humiliating glow. The elders called it justice. She called it betrayal. Her military campaign, once hailed as visionary, had ended in disaster the moment they'd engaged the Terrans. And now she was the scapegoat. "Your sentence is exile," the High Speaker intoned. "You are to be sent to the Black Spiral world, where time distorts and no soul survives." Calith didn't flinch. The Vurothi feared death, feared agony. But Calith was bred in war, not council chambers. If she would die, she'd do it with honor. Alone. Or so she thought. When she awoke from cryodrop, the Black Spiral was less a planet and more a twisted relic of time and gravity. Glowing storm fronts whipped across the black sand. Shards of crystallized sound hummed beneath her boots. And the only structure in sight was a human dropship, half buried in the dirt. Terran technology. She cursed under her breath, instincts screaming. If a human was here, they'd either been stranded or assigned to watch her rot. Either way, she would not submit. She still had venom in her veins. A voice rang out from the vessel, lazy, amused. "Hey! You the infamous Calith." She turned, spines on her back flaring. He stood at the entrance, tall for a human, wrapped in half-worn armor, skin tanned, eyes sharp and mirthful. He had a pulse weapon strapped to his thigh, but his hands were open. "I'm Rafe," he said. "Welcome to Hell." Middle. The first few days were nothing but silence and suspicion. Calith avoided him, built her own lean-to far from his vessel. Rafe didn't interfere. But neither did he leave her alone. He brought her protein packs, purified water, even heat canisters. "I'm not your pet," she snapped once, throwing a ration bar at his feet. "Nope," he replied with a smirk. "But starvation looks bad on everyone." He wasn't like the humans she'd fought. He didn't boast, didn't rage, didn't even gloat about her defeat. He fixed what he could, scavenged what he couldn't, and hummed ancient Earth tunes like he wasn't marooned on a nightmare planet with an ex-general who might slit his throat in his sleep. "What is your purpose?" she finally asked one night, after a storm shredded her tent and he wordlessly offered her shelter. He shrugged. "Originally, Dukan got shot down. No way off now. You're the first person I've seen in months. Then you are my jailer." He laughed. "You're not that important." The insult should have stung. Didn't. It almost comforted her. As days bled into weeks, they fell into a rhythm. He taught her Terran survival tactics. She shared Vurothi hunting methods. They built better shelters, repaired his half-functioning distress beacon, and dodged the strange gravity pulses that threatened to crush bones or twist time. Once, they watched a bird age into dust mid-flight. "This planet is cursed," Calith muttered. Rafe simply nodded. "But you're still here." Their nights became conversations, their silences less hostile. Calith began to look forward to his sarcasm, his strange Terran stories of music festivals and beach volleyball, concepts absurd to a Vurothi raised on conquest. One night, the storms raged harder than ever. Rafe's ship creaked like a dying beast. Calith pressed herself against a heating coil, shivering despite herself. He tossed her a thermal blanket. "You'll freeze." "I will not beg," she snapped, even as her teeth chattered. "Then don't. Just take it." She did. Later, when the winds quieted, she whispered, "You do not act like an enemy." He didn't look at her. Maybe war lied to both of us. Turning point. It happened during a foraging expedition near a gravity well. Calith moved too close to the anomaly. The pulse struck unexpectedly. Her body convulsed. Time fractured. One heartbeat stretched into hours of pain. She collapsed, screaming in her own language, muscles twisting, spines retracting in agony. And Rafe, he didn't run. He dove into the field. Against the pull of time distortion, against the screaming winds. He reached her, held her, dragged her from the edge. His skin blistered, suit half melted, jaw clenched in raw effort. When the pulse ended, she lay trembling in his arms. "You fool," she hissed, breath ragged. "You could've." "Shut up," he whispered. "You're alive." She looked up at him, really looked. His eyes weren't mocking now. They were full of fire and fear and something else she couldn't name. That night, he didn't return to his bunk. Neither did she. Climax. Their bond deepened, first in glances, then in touches, then in something fierce and intimate neither dared speak aloud. He became her anchor and she, his fury tamed. But the beacon flickered to life weeks later. It was the worst day of her life. "Rescue ship inbound," he muttered, staring at the blinking light. "Terran military. I'll be going home." Calith said nothing. He turned to her. "They'll want to know everything. About you. About this planet. About what we are." She looked away. "You'll tell them. I'm not here to betray you. They'll dissect me. Study me. Not if I lie." She met his gaze, eyes burning. "You should hate me. My people killed thousands of yours. I led invasions. I don't love a uniform, Calith. I love you." Her breath caught. It was not a word the Vyurathi used lightly. "You gave me agony," she said softly. "But then you gave me something else. Something I don't even understand." "Ecstasy," he teased, lips brushing her ear. She hissed in warning but pulled him closer. Ending. When the Terran dropship arrived, it wasn't a war vessel. Just a small recon cruiser with strict orders to extract one missing scout. Calith wore a salvaged hood, her spines hidden. Rafe gave her his translator module, and she pretended to be a mute human engineer, disfigured by radiation. No one asked questions. No one dared. In the weeks that followed, they traveled the galaxy in quiet exile. He told Command he needed time to rehabilitate. She dyed her skin with Terran pigments, altered her posture, dulled her eyes. They wandered from station to station, living in the shadows of two collapsed empires. And still at night, she whispered in his ear in Vyurathi tongue, words of trust, of fire, of pleasure so fierce it unraveled her war-born soul. He taught her laughter. She taught him devotion. The galaxy had tried to break them both. But in the ruins of war, they found something terrifying and sacred. They found ecstasy, not of flesh alone but of spirit, of salvation, of choosing life with the one you should have hated most.